Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account. We're going to be doing some summons. Want to go through the Misty Valley, kind of run through the updates that we're seeing in there with progression. Also tower progression. I've been farming the tower like crazy, trying to get Valkyrie built a little bit further, and overall looking at the signature items for the hero. Now, one thing to remember is, one, there's going to be updates to the signature items. Now, they're also saying that there is going to be update to costs. So what exactly does that mean? It could mean that when we're looking at the signature items going from the plus 30 signature item to the plus 40 signature item, it could require less chests, which means you could be seeing a rebate when they do this update that is going to essentially lower the cost. Well, in addition, we don't know exactly what the cost, or if they're just going to lower the cost from the plus 40 to the plus 50 signature item. That is kind of yet to be seen exactly how this is going to kind of play out. So again, I kind of wanted to go through, see which heroes we're building within the plus 40 signature item. Now, something else to remember is when it comes to heroes, so when we look at the entirety of the heroes, the heroes that honestly will benefit the most from a higher level signature item is going to be your damage dealers. And that's why, you know, Belinda, awakened version of Athalia, looking at Rem, looking at, you know, Leica, looking at Liberta. The heroes that are bringing damage are very, very dependent on stats. So the higher stats that you are building out for these heroes, the better they're going to perform overall. Because again, signature items and damage dealing heroes scale with stats, which makes a really big difference. Now, I did look at a couple of kind of our regular support heroes. So even looking at Lavatoon, again, this one pretty good, but overall the stats addition doesn't have quite the impact that we're going to see as a damage dealer. So it would almost be smart to go ahead and build out some of the damage dealing heroes with higher stats, with higher abilities, and then kind of looking back and going back and looking at some of the support heroes. And then of course the tanking heroes are the ones that don't really need it as much. That kind of fill the role regardless of where they are. But if you want to hit that higher end damage, it is going to be the stats. And let's see, guys, who we have here today on our Sunday stream. We have Jordan, we have Vlad, Arto is here, Marco, that one guy, Zoomer is here as well. If you got questions, definitely drop them in. Can I ask a question? Treasure Scramble, does it change anything choosing a different path? No. So what happens, Zoomer, is when you're going through the different paths of the Treasure Scramble itself, which we just adjusted our teams, once you get to a certain rank, so once you go through here and you actually get to a certain rank, the paths come together. So it doesn't make a big difference because the paths at a certain point do come together. So again, it doesn't make a path from my understanding because they all do come together essentially when you get to a certain point, regardless of what the path is. What's up? 12 for me. Went to sleep at 4, set alarms to catch the stream. Oh, thank you, Donovan, for catching the stream. Definitely well worth it. What's going on? Primo Major is here as well. Mikey Pooh. Matthew is here, Pluto. All right, guys, so let's hop in. Let's do a couple summons in here. I'm going to leave our poll up there for a little bit, but it looks like Belinda is winning at 59%. I don't know if anyone else is going to be able to catch that awakened version of Belinda. Now, she, of course, is one hero we did take to all 5 stars right there. Plus 30 signature item is what we're sitting on right now. But overall, one hero that we are building out, and the reason why I did not include the awakened version of Athalia is we already do have her at 39, if you remember the last stream. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this one, and there is a plus 40 signature item. Now we knew that we wanted to do this. Now, Cleave is not Cleave. I don't know why they named it Cleave. A lot of players are saying this is a translation issue with this, but it actually allows her to use it 2 additional times. With the ability that does the damage. So slashing 3 enemies, so it should be slash instead of cleave. Again, from my understanding, that now your slash goes to 5 enemies with the highest attack rating, or slashing 3 enemies 5 times. So you get an extra 2 slashes out of there, not the cleaves. I don't know, again, if that is going to be the translation issue, because right here, cleave can be afflicted 2 times, which again, I believe now it is 5 times in totality that it is inflicted on there. So again, a pretty big translation issue. Finally, I can see you live again. What's going on, Justin? Thanks for joining us. Keep doing what you're doing. Love the video to catch the stream. Oh, thank you. Love doing the videos, guys. It is awesome. I did Awakened Athalia and Liberta. Major, I am right there with you. So right there is our 40 Athalia. And then, of course, Liberta was the very, very first. So I am on the exact same path as you are on Major. Athalia Liberta, and again, looking at what we're seeing right here with Belinda, I believe it is going to be Belinda we're building the next, which again, when you look at tier lists, when you look at the heroes that are falling in that SSS tier, the Awakened version of Belinda is there, Liberta is there, Athalia is there, Shamir is there, Demia is there, as well as a couple support heroes. So building her up a little bit further, it's not going to hurt. And again, if they come back and they retro the cost reduction, so if they come back, and another question that I kind of get that I want to cover, looking at these, is you have the choice of using your regular red chest, your regular light emblems. You also do have the chest or the ability to use epic light emblems. Overall, what a lot of players didn't realize, and again, I've gotten this a lot of times, is they went through and they actually used our regular light emblems, not realizing that now they can't take anyone from a +20 to a +30 signature item because they burned all their red chest. It will actually go through all of your red chest, and it is a lot more expensive going through and building them out with red chest versus using the epic chest. So again, if you're going 20 to 30, in my opinion, 20 to 30 should be your normal emblem chest. 30 to 40, if you're taking a hero to 40, should be your emblem choice chest. Again, just cost-wise. And the other thing to note is when you're taking a hero, so let me look at one of our heroes at a +20 signature item. Let's look at Oscar, for instance. Right here, you can only use the red chest, so you can't use the epic ones at a discounted rate. So 20 to 30 is going to be the regular red chest. 30 to 40 is going to be those epic chests. Don't burn the red chests when you're going 30 to 40 because we know more heroes are coming up, even with the Awakened version of Lucius. And like I said, a lot of players are getting to the point of, hey, they want to take a hero from a 20 to a 30, not realizing they don't have any red chests yet left or they don't have any emblems left. So not only can they not take it from a 20 to a 30, but they also use the chest, the red chest, to go from a 30 to a 40. So they're completely out of chests in their entirety. And honestly, they're still kind of hard to get. In my opinion, they really do need to nerf the amount that these cost because it is very, very expensive to build heroes and they're not giving us enough chests. I know we're getting them out of the bounty board. We're getting them a couple different places, including the Misty Valley, which we'll go through in just a couple minutes. But overall, again, not seeing enough chests in there really worth it. Is SI50 Awakened Shamir worth it? In my opinion, guys, the 50, I am not going to build. That is honestly, I am not going to go through and I am not going to build a hero to a +50 signature item. The cost is too high. That's kind of the issue that we do have is when you look at, again, looking at taking a hero from a 20 to a 30 to a 40, so on and so forth. If you're taking a hero from a 40 to a 50 currently, you can build 3 other heroes up to that +40 for just the stats you're putting on one hero. That's the reason why I wouldn't. Maybe if you're going back for a second round because you have a majority of heroes already at a +40, but I feel like the big impact, even stat-wise, ability-wise, is going to be taking them from a 30 to a 40. It is not going to be the 40 to a 50. It is way too expensive. And what's going on, Third Eye Prophet and Shady is here as well. My Temple Rift team dies at floor 20. I've Awakened Belinda fully built. Alna, Palmer, Ivan, and Rowan. That team should work pretty well. So within the Temple Rift, a lot of players wait, push to where you can, and then come in here and just literally go right here, build up this trade enhancer as you get, even within the same week. So if you wait 2 or 3 days before the reset, you're going to have the ability to build up this trade enhancer. This is the one, this is the driving force for getting through all of the Temple Rift. It is really the place that you're going to make progression because it kind of caps level to level, so you can't actually go through there, but you will get there. What's going on, Jeff the Egg? Badal, Awakened Brutus 40 seems broken. So I've heard that too. So Brutus, lucky for us, we already have Brutus at a 35 already. We built him a while ago, but a lot of players are saying right here that this is pretty broken overall. We've seen quite a few players that are running the E40 Awakened version of Brutus, which we might have to go and look at that because of the energy recovery rate. That's what a lot of players are kind of saying. So when Mountain Shield is active, so looking at a shield, this is Mountain Shield. So when a shield is generated on the battlefield using the Earth emblem, the Mountain Breaker absorbs the shield power equal to 35% of the shield. So when the shield is up, he's actually giving an energy regeneration right here. So the energy recovery rate gains 25 energy recovery rate. So he's getting energy faster by having a shield. We know he shields an incredible amount and shields the team, which again, a lot of players are saying it is pretty broken with that. With the awakened version of Brutus. I'm gonna have to do some more research, but again, I've seen a lot of heroes that are running the Mountain Breaker, that are running the plus 40 signature item for Brutus for that fact. Now, it's also gonna see when they do the update, when they do the changes, if they're gonna move these, the unlock at 40 down to 35. Now, again, that is kind of a rumor that we've seen on some of the patch notes that we could possibly see the unlock at 40 within the 4 primary factions, this ability actually moving to a 35, meaning you're not gonna have to get the extra 5 levels to get the extra ability, but you can take him to a 40 if you want the stats. And then of course, we don't know, and it didn't say, which was kind of weird, about the awakened heroes. It noted in there the Celestials, the Hypos, and also the Dimensionals, but it did not note in there about the awakened heroes, which we're gonna have to see. What's going on, Peter? And pulled the trigger. Jaffa is here as well. Are you still playing the faction accounts? I have not. And Darren, it has probably been a couple months at this point with the faction accounts. I don't have the time. That's really when we started getting a lot more things in AFK Arena, when we started the Ghoulish Gallery, more time and effort went into the YouTube account and the free-to-play account. His strength is scaling with the defense. Yes, I believe that is also true, that he scales with defense. So when you're stacking more defensive ability, adding in armor, erosion, and haste, and then of course, when you put collections on them, in my opinion, guys, the collections are an absolute game changer because you're adding a ton of stats and you're adding a lot more damage with these. The collections in combination with these signature items makes a big difference. It makes a really, really big difference. And I wonder if just taking a quick snapshot at our leaderboard and see if anyone is running them in here. Because overall, I looked through a couple places within the treasure scramble. I didn't see Brutus in there. See, there's our new tank, but that is still running Baden in there. There is Brutus. So Brutus is in there and he is running the SP effect. And I guarantee you it's at a plus 40, which it is right there. So that again might make a really, really big difference when it comes to the hero, having that SP effect on that plus 40. And then I wonder if we can see the same right down here in the Nightmare Corridor. If again, we're kind of seeing the same. Let's check out Blossom's formation. The original version of Taylene, I still love seeing that. There's the SP effect. There's Brutus in there as well, not running the SP effect though. So they're actually running Sophia's SP effect in there. And then of course, Thane is in there if you don't have Thane. Orin is the one that we'll really look at. And it looks like we're getting pretty close. I do this right before the reset. So right here, we're 6, we're 8.8. I'm sure I can score a lot better. Now, also with this mode, you have to make sure that you're putting on your collections. So a lot of players are getting burned with the collections that were going in here. It's not assigning the correct collections to the right heroes or the ones that you want. They're going to have to fine tune that a little to get it to work. I got Awakened Belinda and Athalia to plus 40. Which hero should I go for? Liberta. If you're looking, Peter, I would go Liberta. Yes, Liberta is absolutely broken. I just built Awakened Belinda to 40, and I was thinking of building Athalia. Yeah, Athalia will work. Both of those. So we did Liberta and Athalia, and again, we're going to go in here, and I'm going to build up the Awakened version of Belinda. Again, I do not want to use these light emblems. I'm going to save them right now for heroes. We have Melkery that is coming up right now. If we want to take a couple heroes up to that plus 30 signature item, we can do it. But in here, we have 362. So again, looking at the stats, so even looking at the magical efficiency right here, this is going to be huge when you start adding this on exponentially. So we took her to a plus 36. So I'm hoping it'll go to a plus 30 with the burning duration. But look at the stats. When you're getting dissolve, when you're getting magical efficiency, more haste, more attack, you are just exponentially making these heroes stronger, which is very, very cool to see the build on some of these. I just completed chapter 44. Yeah, you have to push the chapters, especially, and again, we're going to hop in here. I want to go through and do the Misty Valley, and I don't believe the second part of the Misty Valley is up at this point. Make sure Legendary Epic Adventures, you are doing those as well. What's going on, Zoa? Doing well today. Just got done shopping, got back, but we know there is an update in here, which gives us, of course, 3 more Treasure Trove Misty Valley slots. So in here again, looking at tier 2, 3, 4, and then these you can actually buy from diamonds. Tier 4 stone would be your choice right here. Then of course, we can buy these with gold, buy them with gold, 20 emblems, 10 of these. These are what we're looking for. Again, when you look at the ability to get from a 30 to a 40, these are what you're looking to build. And then the final one, we get these every 2 days. Both of these we can buy. So either poke coins, depending where your furniture is, or twisted essence, depending on where your elder tree is. Me personally, I'm going with poke coins just because it seems there's not any point in AFK Arena that I'm getting enough poke coins to actually build these out. And I'm going to put my new tank in there. So these are the rewards essentially that I am going to be getting out of here, focusing on the red chest. Now, of course, one thing to remember is when you're building out these heroes, you can choose between your baits or the red chests. Now, if you are below a level 12 beast, so if your beast resonance is below level 12, I would do the baits all day long. And we actually kept the baits in the Misty Valley in the treasure trove until we hit 18. Majority of players, once you hit 12, you're going to build specific beasts up to 18. But getting these red chests at this point, in my opinion, if you don't have that beast resonance 12, get the baits. If you're higher than 12, I would go ahead and get those red chests. Who should I build first, Liberta or Lucila? Liberta, absolutely. Yeah, Liberta is probably one of the highest utility heroes. Liberta, an awakened version of Athalia, for an awakened hero, and then a celestial. Both of those together, they have more utility than anyone else in the AFK Arena. When it comes to the damage dealers, absolutely I would. If you don't want to SI50 someone, the red chests are a better value. Yeah, and again, the SI50, if you're looking in here, the cost difference between the 30 and 40 should be better with this one, Marco. Honestly, it should be. What's going on, Zolthamus? Just for the fact it costs so many less chests when you're going 30 to 40 versus using the red chest, because even looking kind of in comparison, when you look, so if I'm getting 10 more chests value-wise, I'm using 70 here and 90 here, so the extra 20, again, chest-wise, depending on what you're building. Personally, I'm going to pick up those epic, and again, I know they should have given us more chests. And again, that's what a lot of players have really been complaining about, is they're not giving us the ability to get enough chests. Now, like we were talking a little bit earlier with our tower progression, Brutus Citadel, 1140, that is right. We got 5 out of there. Inferno Fortress, I took to 840. We got 5 out of there. Celestial Sanctum, 840. We got 5 out of there. That is 15 time emblems, which is awesome to see. 400 of our cores, 6,000. That is right, guys. 6,000 right there. So farming towers. Again, I cannot stress it enough how important it is when you're going through here on a daily basis, farming out this King's Tower. So all of these are capped again. And then the other ones we are getting there have a lot of trouble right now based on my level getting through these. The regular King's Tower, I need to farm that a lot, but overall making a lot of progression. There's a double cost for red chest. Max is like 1.6, but you do. Oh, is it? A double cost for red chest. I'm gonna have to check that. I know Pogo over on Discord does all of the breakdown for what things cost. Yeah, I'll have to definitely check it out, Marco, and I could be completely wrong. Let's run through here. I want to do some of the Misty Valley, and then we'll get into our summons. We'll do our poke coins. We'll build some more beasts out of there. But I believe at this point, we can only go through the first 10 floors. And then, of course, a little bit later, we'll go through the rest of those 10 floors. So in here, we're just going to put in some light bearers. And again, I usually run Thane in here. Any primary damage dealer that you're running will work incredibly well. It will work very well. I just want to say thank you for all the videos and these streams. They helped me progress overall, made this game. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. Yeah, guys, thank you guys for joining me. Again, I love doing the streams because you're the ones that play AFK Arena, and you're the ones that I have, you know, all of this in common with for playing a game that I love. Outside of here, I don't talk to anyone else about AFK Arena because none of them play. So I actually have the ability to talk to all of my all of the followers, all the fans, all the people that love the same game that I do. It's really cool. So we got, what, 5 different factions in here. Again, I'm going to leave Thane in here like I normally do. Any damage dealer in here will do the exact same to make easy work of this place. It works really well. As a new player, is it good? Mortis and Athalia. Yeah, Mortis and Athalia is good. Mortis fundamentally will work with just one copy. That's one of the big things is Mortis will work with a base level. Even just having that one copy at a base level will work and will work incredibly well. You'll get to a point where, of course, you'll build it a little bit higher, but bases, yeah, Awakened Athalia and Mortis will work. Which collection is better for Belinda, Mihira, or Oden? Discount, it depends. So when you look at different game modes, there are going to be different collections. That's why we've built out kind of a multitude of collections, which I think this we have to win within 15 seconds. There's a multitude of collections. And again, it really depends on what game mode you're using. Is there going to be a plus 40 tier list? Yes, John, there absolutely will be a plus 40 tier list. We just have to see what it's going to look like. Your kids haven't started. No, Crack and Crunch. My kids do not play AFK Arena. They play Pokemon every now and then, and that's really their go-to game that they are still obsessed in love is playing Pokemon. They really do. Yeah, the plus 40, again, it seems like it might be a little bit before we do get the tier list for the simple fact of we have to see, and I know for a lot of people, there is a ton of analytics that is going to come behind it with exactly who we need to build in what formations is it really going to work. Wasn't here. I got Amelia level 40 because I need the energy reduction, and now I wonder who to go for level 40. Honestly, when you look at GameSky, I haven't built out Amelia to a 40 yet, but that could definitely be worthwhile for the PvP aspect is what a lot of players are saying. And Amelia also does a considerable amount of damage. Again, it'll be interesting to see where they test at and where we see the most value for the heroes. It's going to be a matter of time. Now, this one is Graveborns. Again, this game mode, pretty easy just to run through pretty quick. Are you surprised, Lucius? No, actually, I like Lucius. I like the ability to build Lucius. I think, and overall, being an older player of AFK Arena, definitely Lucius is a good choice. Now we have what? The original version of K-Sauce and Athalia. Most players never build K-Sauce right there. And then, of course, the original version of Athalia, which is right there as well. Why is there a leaderboard here like it just shows who did it first? Not sure what you mean. Not sure what you mean by the leaderboard. Not really sure which awakening to go for next. Brutus, Belinda, Athalia, Shimira. Shimira would do incredibly well. Leica would do incredibly well. But with that thought, Zilwa is wait. If you have the resources, I would wait and wait to see exactly what Lucius looks like when he comes out. That is going to be right now a big question mark on how Lucius is going to look, exactly the skills and abilities he's going to bring. A lot of players are also speculating that Lucius is going to be a warrior. Now that, of course, is going to make a big difference if Lucius does not come out a tank. If Lucius comes out a warrior, that, again, could change a lot of dynamics because that could be a major damage dealer versus it being anything else in AFK Arena. Again, only time will tell exactly where the hero falls when they get out. But again, I would save my resources knowing that a new awakened hero is on the horizon. Save your resources, see exactly where they come out. I collect Pokemon cards. My kids do as well, Peter. They started on Halloween. We had a neighbor that gave out Pokemon cards, and that was it. That started the collection, and now they have binders of Pokemon cards. Just the shame. Shoot, I do Rem too. Rem will be good too, Jeff. Absolutely. Rem to 40 will work incredibly well. Again, when you want to focus on the damage dealers, the big thing to remember is focusing the plus 40 signature items on your damage dealers. That is really it. How's it going? Did you manage? So as of right now, we're tearing out the floor, Marion. So thank you for the heads up. Yeah, did we manage to fix the basement? I think we have all the water remediated. I think that part is good. Missing all the baseboards, a lot of drywall out. Some of the cabinets are going to have to be replaced. Still working with the insurance company, but the floor, we actually started ripping out the whole floor yesterday, checking the condition, checking the water. Yeah, it's going to be a long process, and that's exactly what we're finding out is just exactly what it's going to entail with the entire process of remediation and removing part of the basement. I agree with you. I like the old school players getting a boost. Yeah, Belinda, now Lucius. And Belinda and Lucius, of course, go together. If you guys remember, again, playing kind of old school AFK Arena, Lucius and Belinda were always together, which this one, I think it was Leofric. Leofric and Silas. Another hero that, again, a lot of players never really see. Leofric right here. And then, of course, Silas is a hero we do actually use for quite a bit. But overall, yeah, Lucius and Belinda went together perfect. Even Thane kind of in that transition of all of them together. So again, I'm excited to see Lucius. I'm not sad. I'm not sad at all that it is Lucius. It'll be interesting to see. If I extended the borrow duration for dimensional heroes 30 days, do I get the leftover time added? Yes, you do, Skyper. So it'll add the 40 days if you continue to get it. Once you do that 6 times, if you haven't hit the 6 times, once you borrow a hero 6 times, you get it for free forever, which is awesome. Still wish it was Awakened Rowan. Yeah, me too, Shady. Most of you know that I do love Rowan. Rowan is my go-to in AFK Arena. But again, overall, I haven't heard anyone that's very, very disappointed with it being Lucius, which is awesome. Have any tips from the story, chapter 31? Di, are you getting into the 2 teams? So with the 2 teams, it does get a lot more difficult. So essentially, so Dimensionals usually run 1 team, and then whoever you built getting to chapter 31 is usually your other team. Majority of players will run like a combination of Damon and Ivan, go through there with a couple other Graveborn heroes, which work incredibly well. All heroes on the front line must be tanks. So let's pick up a couple tanks in here. So swap these out. Let's go to our tank. And there we go. We got Mishka and Shamira in the front. Yeah, Belinda is crazy. Ever since Belinda has been released, she was probably one of the most broken heroes we've seen, honestly. When you look at the impact of heroes, I mean, similar to Ainz, the Awakened version of Belinda was broken, was absolutely in the entirety just a broken hero upon release. And it's kind of rings true right now that we see the exact same. You think AFK will have an exchange mechanic for old heroes being replaced by the Awakened versions? I wish. I don't think they will. I think at this point, a majority of the older heroes are just going to stay the older heroes. I don't think there's going to be anything. And a lot of players also wanted, which I thought would have been pretty cool, is with the Awakened heroes, is you have to have the original, let's say the original version of Belinda, built up to a point that it would awaken them. But instead, they went with the Awakened heroes and, of course, just built a brand new hero. We were hoping the mechanics or the mechanism when they were building them would have been, I take my original Belinda, I max her out in her entirety, then she goes Awakened, and then we build them from there. Kind of interesting. Yeah, Rowan has to be Awakened at some point. There we go. So at some point, I don't have Rem, Albedo, or Amelia. Should I spend resources on them? Yes, there's a point. When you look at those 3 heroes specifically, Craig, when you look at Rem, Albedo, and Amelia, all 3 of them are used in a ton of content, especially Rem. You can run Own the Rem, one of the very, very strong combinations, running Own the Rem together. And again, Rem is a best in slot damage dealer in a significant amount of formations. Let me see who we got in this one. So we have Naruko right there with Brutus. I'm just wondering the gold challenge in here. Look at that. Let's go ahead and copy that. You know what? I'm gonna put both of these together, which again is kind of an interesting formation. So this with, of course, looking over here with our Witcher, still kind of disappointed with the Witcher. But overall, yeah, I would love to see it. Do your kids have card sleeves? Yeah, they are. They're all in books. So they actually have them in the binders, Peter. They're all in the books. Now, I wonder if, looking here, if... Now it's funny because the gold challenge has changed. Which is that the same stage? That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird that we're getting so 12 million, 105. Let's see right here. So they're just running Ainz right here on 664. Poop is running. There we go. The awakened version of Belinda. Let's copy that one and see exactly what it looks like. Now this one I usually come back to because there is an RNG factor with this that you're going to run it sooner or later. It's going to click with killing the first two, the ones in the front first. But overall, Belinda is just broken. But I'm just wondering that immunity factor of trying to kill Hendrik first. And I know a lot of players said this one was super difficult because of Hendrik being in the front. When are you expecting the dimensional collab? So interesting. So they actually put something out. If you guys did the survey or if you checked it out over on, I believe it was over on Reddit and Discord, they put out a survey with a ton of essentially crossovers that they could be possibly looking at in the future. So I believe there's going to be a dimensional collaboration crossover, which is going to happen pretty soon, Miriam, just for the fact that they put out the surveys. Now, when we've seen ReZero, when we've seen, Overlord, when we've seen all of those, they put out a couple different surveys, surveyed what players would love to see what crossovers, and then kind of went from there. Yeah, it would be very interesting to see. I would say relatively soon. I hope we do 1 or 2 dimensional collaborations this year would be ideal because, of course, they bring a lot. Now, here we have 6 more days. Let's collect up our loot. Boom. Lot more resources, a lot more poke coins. That is why I wanted to hop in here before we do the summons. So let's hop over. We'll do all of our summons. We'll pop open our chest that we got out of there. A lot more resources. There's 8,000 essence out of there. We'll do some summons, hopefully get some more copies of Melkery. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that we can continue to build her out in the entirety. Then, of course, we're picking up red chests instead of baits because now we're building the heroes up to those higher signature items. So looking here, we have 19 of our regular rare stones. Then we have 4 elite stones. Fingers crossed we could get a Celestial or a Hypo. And it is no copies. No copies of Melkery, unfortunately. Not much more to build out of there. In which order do I recommend upgrading the heroes? Honestly, upgrading the heroes to a plus 40 signature item, damage dealers first. So when you look at Daemio, when you look at Liberto, when you look at the awakened version of Belinda and Athalia, even looking at Shamira, damage dealers first because they benefit the most from having those higher stats. I was wondering, has there been any game modes where Melkery is used? Haven't seen her in Cursed Realm Nightmare Corridor. I would wait. And what I recommend is Melkery was released on Tuesday. So, I mean, we're what, about 5 days in, 6 days in for Melkery. Wait to see if Melkery is used. Now, for a player like, what I'm running, I build all the heroes regardless because of kind of where we're at. A lot of these I do recycle. But overall, I would wait to build Melkery, see where she's used, if she's used, and then also seeing if she's going to be used very, very short-lived. So a lot of heroes in AFK Arena, even looking at Guineas, looking at a couple other ones, ran 1, maybe 2 iterations of the Cursed Realm or Nightmare Corridor. Then they weren't used anymore. And unfortunately, if players really built them out, then we don't see anything else or they're not being used anywhere. Let's go in. We'll do our summons in here with our companion points. And nothing from that one. Just some more, again, recycled materials. Farmed up 25 cards. So we do have the ability to pull a couple more copies of Melkery. So hopefully, considering for how many years this game has been around, it should be about time to improve the rates for the regular 4 banners, including elite rates. Yeah, it definitely could. The thing is, when you look at the wish list, this is really all that you need to focus on. Even looking at, all of the older heroes in AFK Arena, and I find this as well with my free-to-play account, the older heroes you're not going to build. They're not in any formations. Most of them are falling in, the C, D, and E tiers. You're not going to build any of those. So with the rates being pretty decent, making sure the wish list is set properly, you're not going to build any of the old ones. It's kind of a waste if you're building them. Absolutely. Tier 5 stone soon. Yeah, Tier 5 could be coming. I want to see exactly how they're going to do that with the Tier 5. I don't know the Jiu-Jitsu, but I've seen that a lot. Zilwa, I've seen that quite a bit. Ran Awakened Athalia solo. Oh, for the frontline kill, I'm going to have to look at that. Beat the gold by 3 warriors with temporal cover in the back line. Yeah, I'm going to have to, like I said, usually we can get through that, but it burns a lot of time. All right, so let's see, guys. Melkery, we have what? Probably 3 pulls, maybe almost 4 pulls in here. Just some resources in that one. Just some resources there. And of course, one more. We got one more with a couple more diamonds. Fingers crossed it is a copy, and it's not. 4 more pulls, so we are 4 more closer. Then, of course, we have 308 of our time emblems right here, waiting for that awakened version of Lucius, which is going to be coming down the pipeline pretty soon. So we're going to recycle all of the heroes that we have in here a little bit later. Let's hop in this Oak Inn, pick up some of those pull coins, do some more summons for furniture, and I think that gives us enough for one more summon. I think it does. Fingers crossed, an awakened hero. Every time we try, it is Kaz. So unfortunately, nothing in there. I always hope every now and then we do get the awakened hero. Try the original Athalia, Liberta, and Demia for the MV stage. Yeah, I definitely will. I'd love to see the Arcane collab in November when season 2 comes out. That would be cool to put it in conjunction, Shady, with another, like with a big release like season 2. A lot of hype around a anime series or even a show, and then releasing it in conjunction. That would be awesome to see. When are we going to have a new dimensional? Pretty soon, Crash. I would say it is very, very prevalent. I would probably say within the next 2, maybe 3 iterations of heroes, we're going to see another hero that is coming out, which of course is going to be a dimensional hero. I don't have Ezio and Quinn. I'm not sure who Quinn is. Yeah, Ezio, again, not really. Not really. How do you unlock Rem? So if you do not have Rem, guys, and then we'll get into our summons, you can actually go into the Garrison. So if you didn't have the ability to get any of your dimensional heroes, Die Banana, this is where you are going to pull your copies of Rem. So you'll actually go in here. It says, I own the hero. You can't hire the hero. You're going to hire the hero through the Garrison. After hiring a hero 6 times, you no longer have to hire the hero. You have to go back in there and request them, but you don't have to use resources to go ahead and build them. I used Awakened Athalia and Rem. I got it first try. Yeah, I'll hop back in there and I'll get them. What should I do? My heroes all are old and not meta. Continue building. That's really it. Continue with progression. Continue building some of the new heroes, focusing on the tier, essentially the tier list, and building up the meta heroes at a point. Lufa hero, 1 hero pick. Please, God. So Peter wants Lufa in there. All right, guys, we got 30,000 Poe coins. Again, looking at our new Wilder tank and Vika, haven't been lucky with those. And remember, 36 is the cap, so we already have 24 right here. I'm going to save the ones we have on the table, and I'm keeping Eugene in there right now. We're going to have to see in a double pull Rem, and there is Liberta as well. So a double summon right there for furniture, which is awesome to see. There's a copy for Valkyrie. I always call her Valkyrie for the obvious reason, but there is Valkyrie. There's another piece for Liberta, and Liberta's getting close. Guys, Liberta is getting close to getting a lot of built and max out furniture, and another double. Look at that, another copy for Valkyrie and the awakened version of Athalia. Got some definite good double pulls in there, and then of course we have 2 cards on the table. I might save those. I might actually use them just for the simple fact that we have a couple more. And look, it equips a piece on Almas because that's the tank that we really need. A little bit short right there, but let's see upgrades. So we have a couple more in here. Make sure again that you're doing your specific upgrades. I believe there's one right here. That is haste. So we want to strengthen up Rem's haste. And I believe that is going to take it to a max. So there is another 3 of 3 furniture. Now looking at the Awakened version, and again, we kind of used it across the board, but this is looking at the crit rating. We'll take this one up to another max furniture right there. And then I believe for Liberta, we already have a lot of max, so we're maxed across the board right there. But looking here, using a little bit more, we have a choice of tenacity, or we have crit block rating. I'm just going to build up some tenacity. We'll go ahead and we will upgrade this one as well. Taking it, we got 2 in this one. A little bit more tenacity right there, and then strengthening. A lot of players don't even know you can strengthen furniture, but yes, you can add a lot more stats through the strengthening. So that also gives us a lot more pieces of furniture, and I want to see where we're at for that 3 of 3 furniture. We already have 9 pieces right there, which is very, very cool to see. 2 on the table. Now again, Vika, not really seeing a lot of utility on Vika. 26 already for Liberta, but you know what? I'm thinking of building out our tank a little bit. I'm going to do the 3 of 9 on the tank, but we're going to have to see where Valkyrie's at. The storeroom, of course, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 already for Eugene, 2 for Valkyrie when we do have her built, which we are going to build her up, adding the furniture, adding the engraving on there. You know what? I know we're using our Wilder tank in a couple different places. I'm going to go ahead and throw furniture on him. But we can also save him for Lucius. I'm going to save him for Lucius. I was just thinking about it. I'm going to save those because we know the Awakened Hero is coming. I'm going to save those for Lucius. Might be well worth it to go ahead and save those up. Next Awakened Greatborn better be Damon, since regular Damon is one of my best early heroes. Yeah, regular Damon was a carry. Was an absolute crazy carry for a majority of players in AFK Arena. Even looking at any newer players, it is all Damon. It is all pushing and all run. Damon is the carry. I mean, Damon, again, thinking of newer players to AFK Arena, Damon 100% is the carry in the entirety. Yeah, I think he meant Queen. Yeah, Queen I wouldn't really build either. Honestly, looking at Queen, wouldn't be a huge one to get if you already have all of the other ones. Not a ton of places. See you later, Shady. Have a good day. When should I start stargazing? So, Jenik, the time when you start stargazing, so once you get to the King's Tower, within the faction towers, when you're pulling and when you're having the ability to actually go in here and get Stargazer scrolls, that's about the point that you want to start going in there and actually building out or doing Stargazer pulls. Outside of that, if you're putting money into AFK Arena, just go ahead and really build them out as much as you can and whatever you want to, if you're putting money into it. But if not, wait until you go through and your faction towers you're pulling cards out of, because if you do it too early, unfortunately, you're going to have the repercussion of not being able to make progression because you went in there and you actually got stuck. Who should I build first? Tricia, Twins, Edwin, or Eugene? Honestly, out of those, I would probably do Tricia. And the reason being, we're not seeing Eugene used in a lot of places yet because we don't have him fully built out. So we're actually missing, you know, a big chunk here with furniture, a big chunk here with engraving, where we know Tricia is used in tower formations. Also looking at a lot of different game modes, Curse Realm, Nightmare Corridor, Tricia is being used. As of today, yeah, I like Tricia. Twins and Eugene really don't need it. Or excuse me, Twins and Edwin really don't need it. But yeah, Eugene will to a point. Might just take a little bit. You think it's worth epic emblems to get heroes from a 35 to a 40 for free to play? Or will it be a trip to hell? So the big thing is we have to wait and see the update. So take it with a grain of salt. So even looking here is with Brutus right now, majority of players are pausing on building these signature items for the simple fact that if they are moving this unlock at 40 for the signature item skills, keeping them at a 35 will make sense versus taking them to a 40 to unlock that ability. Again, we have to see, and there should be patch notes up Tuesday, probably Tuesday, Wednesday on the test server, which I'm sure is going to be worth or going to be with the Awakened version of Lucius. So we're going to have to see, is Elbeto's 40 signature item worth it? I would say no. And the reason being a tank, even looking here, I believe it just gives you the 5% boost, which again, looking at a 5% boost right here, in my opinion, no, it wouldn't be worth it to build her up a little bit further. Because again, you're talking about heroes like Rem, taking Rem up to a 40 versus, I mean, even here, the damage dealt going through shields, all damage dealt with Rem with her Morning Stars increased to 40% from 30%. So you're getting a 10% boost here on the primary damage dealer, and you're getting a big shield ignore right there. I find it a lot more beneficial to build out your damage dealers first before you actually get and build out some of the tanks or the support heroes at this point. Lavatoon or Lucilla first. I would probably go with Lavatoon. And really, the way that I look at it in tier list wise, number one, building out Liberta. Liberta is huge, absolutely a big priority. Then it is either building out Demia or building out Lavatune. Those are really the next two when you look systematically. After you have Damia and you have Lavatune built, then I would build out Liberta at that point, or excuse me, Lucilla at that point. But that's kind of the progression that I would do it in, just based on the utility of the heroes and how strong they are kind of being built. Is it worth going 40 on Damon to push the story? No, not at all. Do not overvest in Damon. There, again, you're not going to be able to get the resources back, especially not for a considerable amount of time. I wouldn't build him any higher for the little bit of stats and buffs that it gets. Build all of the primary heroes that you're going to be utilizing within other game modes. The story will come in time. The campaign will come in time. The campaign will also come with levels. As you're leveling up your resonating crystal, it's going to make a really big difference campaign-wise. Getting heroes built up. I wouldn't overbuild heroes just to make a little bit of progression. When will they release Awaken Lucius? I would say probably Wednesday, Thursday of next week. So probably about another 5 days. I would say Awaken Lucius, will get all of the details of him to see exactly what he is. And again, a lot of speculation is saying that the Awakened version of Lucius is going to go from what we see him right now as a regen tank, but he is actually going to go to a warrior. Again, we don't know when that is going to be true and if it is true. But again, a lot of players are saying that he is going to go to a warrior. I am personally saving all my resources for 1 year because that's my play style. Yeah, it's good, Marion, but it also hinders progression. That's the big thing, because if you're saving everything, and we see this exact same where players were saving, let's say 12 months to do a summon, it hinders progression greatly, because you could use heroes, you could use resources, you could make a lot more progression if you were using your resources versus and acquire a lot more resources through using resources. I want to note that Albeto's SI gives a stack for each dim. Yeah, so the big thing, it gives 20% more attack for the dims, but most of them you're only running 3. And most of them are not damage dealers is the other thing, David. So when you look at a majority of the formations where you're running dimensionals, Albedo is usually only going to buff 2 or 3 dimensionals, in this case, 3 dimensionals. But a lot of players are not running a full 5-dimensional team in its entirety together. That's the big thing. So even if you're running, Rem and Amelia, like a lot of players do run the combination of Ulna, and a lot of them will either put Merlin in here or they'll put Albedo in here. So again, running 2 or 3, it's going to increase the attack rating. But even thinking of a formation like this is, if I took Amelia to a 40, if I took Rem to a 40, that stat-wise and even looking at build-wise is going to be a lot stronger than taking Albedo to a 40 to get that 5% boost, depending on who you're running. Now, in the future, and I definitely agree with that, Albedo's SI gives a stat for each dim. If they release some new dimensional heroes, it's going to be a lot bigger when it comes to Albedo having that 40. Yep, in earlier game, I know the full 5 team dim. I mean, for an incredible amount of time, it was literally running Ainz. Ainz was the combination of these two together with a couple other dimensional heroes, worked incredibly well. In the future, we might see a lot more utility out of Albedo just because of having the ability or having essentially bigger heroes. So if they release another collaboration, which is 2-dimensional heroes, if they release 2-dimensional heroes that are very, very strong, like we see with Rem and Amelia, like we've seen with Ainz and Albedo, Albedo is going to be definitely a priority to build, because if you're running her with a bunch of other higher level dims, because remember, Rem is also an older hero, as in the power creep, the actual combat rating of the hero has been slowly overrun depending on the release. Newer heroes are stronger. That's really it. What is the best SI for now? Yeah, any of those. Any of those, Raul, will be good. If you're looking at Rem, Belinda, Athalia, even looking at Liberta, absolutely. Sorry, I got 5 nights of sleep. I got to go. Oh, see you later, Peter. Have a great day. Yeah, a lot of players, again, still run Ainz. It works incredibly well with Albedo. Is Mulan's 9 of 9 furniture good? Yes, Mulan is another hero that works incredibly well. Even looking at the furniture, at the start of battle, this goes off. So her ultimate ability actually goes off at the start of battle. Yes, definitely makes a big difference because this also is tied to crowd control. When is Awaken Lucius released? It should be this week. The test server, it should be this week for that Awakened version of Lucius. So, I mean, honestly, right around the corner with the release. It's not far off, guys. Once we start getting and seeing the plate glass window, it'll get to a point where, yes, we will see the release of the Awakened version of Lucius pretty early, guys. And there is our gifting membership. I wanted to make sure that I did not forget it with the couple minutes that we have left. So definitely wanted to give that. And Vlad Killjoy, look at that. Rem is still my highest curse realm or CR hero, combat rating hero. Overall in here, even looking at tier, looking at combat rating, Rem's still in the top 5. So Rem is still doing very, very well with the combat rating. And that is because I have a plus 30 signature item. I have a 67 engraving. So I have actually built Rem up considerably higher than the 30960 that we usually build. In addition, we also do have Rem in there with a couple more pieces of furniture, as you can see. I think we're at what? That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So an extra 10 pieces of furniture to add some more stats in there, which is awesome. What's going on, Ariel? Thank you for joining us for the stream. What engraving does Scarlet need to be good? Scarlet, in very similar to other damage dealers, Jason, the higher you build Scarlet, even here I have Scarlet at a 67, the higher you build out Scarlet, the better she is going to perform because you're adding more stats in there and allowing her to do more damage. Again, this rings true. So even looking through our faction, so looking at here, when you look at Scarlet, when you look at Belinda, when you look at Thane, even in here, when you look at, let's say, Brutus as a damage dealer, even Crescio, Antandra, any of the damage dealers like Orin, looking at Tricia, looking at Leica, any of the damage dealers, the higher you build them, the better they are going to perform. And that is because the higher the stats, the better and stronger they are going to be, which we know rings true. Looking at Athalia, looking at Liberta, the higher that you build them, the better they're going to perform. And what's going on? Ludwig is a hippo supporter. Thank you for supporting the channel. That is awesome to see the little hippos right next to the name. Thank you. Definitely love and support for the channel. As we're coming up on 36,000 subscribers, guys, it's absolutely kind of crazy that we have that many subscribers. I know it's been a significant amount of time, but building the channel based on one game has been kind of crazy. So thank you again, all the members of the channel, all the love and support, all the subscribers. It is really cool to see. You misunderstood my question. Was I trying to ask, is it worth using epic emblems take heroes from 30 to 35? I would use the epic emblems for 30 to 35 instead of red chests. So the big thing here is when you're looking to take the heroes up a little bit higher, the regular emblems, so your regular red chests, are still required to go from a 30, or excuse me, from a 20 to a 30. So what a lot of players got stuck with is they built up a hero just like right here, used a bunch of the regular red chest and a bunch of these epic emblems or light emblems, built heroes up to a 35, up to a 40. Then, of course, you have a hero that needs a plus 30 signature item. You don't have any chests. So not only can you not take a hero up any higher, but you're stuck because this still does require red chests in its entirety. So if you're using all of your red chests to go from a 30 to a 40, when the Awakened version of Lucius comes up, you have to make sure that you're still banking 300 chests to go from a 20 to a 30. Then you need additional chests to go from a 30 to a 40. So again, you really have to stress the resource management now when it comes to red chests. Before, going from a 30 to or from a 20 to a 30 didn't make a big deal. But now with the option of going from a 30 to a 40, you're going to have to manage these appropriately because it is very expensive. And look at that. We have another new supporter to the channel. Thank you, Nick, for supporting the channel. We have 2 new members. Haven't seen any subscribers yet, but that is okay. Thank you guys for all, again, the support for the channel. Absolutely amazing to see. But like I was saying, when it comes to the resource and the acquisition, you're going to have to manage these a lot more, a lot better, because there are so many heroes. And again, most of the game modes, when you look at furniture, when you look at engraving, when you look at everything, it's not, hey, I'm going to race 10 heroes to a plus 40 signature item. It takes time, and it is going to take a considerable amount of time to build out those heroes. And that is by design. That is literally the way that AFK Arena has been for 5 years. I think a lot of people kind of overlook that. But again, even now with everything we put into AFK Arena, we only have 2 heroes at a plus 40, and we have 1 hero that is at a plus 36. That's it. We're going to continue systematically, and I still do have lists. I make a list of 1 single primary, the 4 faction heroes, and I have 1 celestial, 1 hypo, and then I have 1 awakened hero. That is how I go through and I work through actually the heroes that I have, is 1 by 1 by 1, making sure that we're staying with our best in slot heroes, making sure that we're utilizing our tier list to build them out essentially for optimal performance within AFK Arena. Finally caught alive. Thanks for joining us. Your spitting answers I couldn't find in a week sitting through Reddit. Yeah, and a couple of things, like when I cover guides, and I just want to, a lot of guides come out on Reddit, and I love Reddit. I love Discord. There is so much content in there, but the problem with that is there is so much content. You know, a lot of players were asking why I cover the guides that I see in Reddit, from AFK guides and from, you know, Altiplex, from In Season, all of these heroes, why I cover, or all of these players, why I cover all the guides. Hopefully the video gets a lot more exposure out there, because ultimately when they put a guide up in Reddit, it might last a day, it might be 2, and then it gets kind of sunk down based on the posts. Or there's going to be a point where you can't find the answers you're looking for, and it's very hard to search. As much, again, as I like Reddit, it's very hard to search if you're looking for particular things in there. It's hard to find what you're looking for. So I know YouTube search engine, a little bit easier to find, especially the combination of YouTube and Google. And then again, I put all the links to the guides down below so you can know exactly where they're at and try to find them a little bit easier. Because in my opinion, the more information that you have, I don't want players building out the wrong heroes or not finding utility or having issues or being stuck in the game itself, making it a little bit easier. Every class have 2 options of a collection item. I'm curious if each class has the best. They don't, Mark, and the reason is it depends on the game mode. So depending on the game mode, the collections are going to change. And that again is kind of by design. So when you start looking here at different collections, even here, I only have 1 that is not of Zorath. There's a couple that like do cheat death in here, which again, some of them are going to bring more damage. Some of them are going to keep some of the heroes and some of the tanks alive. There's a lot of different things. So some of the ones that you run in the Cursed Realm, which of course is a minute 30 entire full battle, is not the same ones you're going to run in the Nightmare Corridor, because most of the Nightmare Corridors are 7, 15, 20-second battles and are going to be entirely different than what you're running in the Treasure Scramble, because the Treasure Scramble game mode is PvP focused on the same level. So again, there's going to be an absolute multitude of collections, and that's why I've went through and actually, you know, collected, let's say 3 of these. Then I get 3 of these on Mahira. I got 3 over here for Oden. I got 3 of these for Rowan. 3 of these or 4 of these for Tassie. So on and so forth, is because depending on the game mode, it is going to change the collection that you're utilizing. So you have to make sure, especially if you're using the formation button, that you have those collections in their entirety, or it just leaves them blank. It won't fill in with a collection if you're copying formations. It'll leave it blank. And also you have to note is with the collections, it won't put the best collection based on stats on the hero that it should. For instance, when you're looking for damage, let's say with Oden's collection, it might not put the collection that you want on the awakened version of Belinda. It might put a basic orange collection like this that we got for free or from a really bad run on the awakened version of Belinda. When you want to run the best collection that you own on the awakened version of Belinda, because you want to raise her damage cap and the amount of damage she does, you have to really take a look at the collections. And I'll show you kind of what I mean. So when you go through, and we'll do a reset right here on the Cursed Realm. So I'll reset this and we go in here, and let's say we look at Jigo, or we look at Blossom, or look at some of the recommended formations in here. Even here, Izok, and I believe the formation is hidden. So if we use this formation, you have to go back and look through exactly what it's adding to your heroes. Even here, Lorzen, it's saying, hey, there's no collection for Lorzen. So it means that looking at these three, I need another collection of Mahira, because this formation calls for a collection, a Mahira collection on Lorzen. I don't have it, so it doesn't equip it. And you can go formation to formation, and you'll see this exact same thing. So here, again, we have these Oden collections. It's showing me that I need a lot more collections on both of these for building out Mahira. Now, in addition, when you look at these, is when we look here, this is a very strong collection. As you can see, we use some of our resources in here to get this collection built. But overall, it can equip this collection on a hero that really doesn't need it or is not a primary damage dealer within the formations. That way, you have to look at the formations, you have to look at the collections. They need to fine tune this a little bit, and I feel like it would work a lot better. But again, if you don't have the collections available, it's not going to equip them. And then unfortunately, it doesn't always collect or doesn't equip your strongest collection on the specific hero that you're looking for, which again is kind of hard. So with the next week changes, I would only need, yes, you would need the 35 Jason to get the skill. So again, I haven't seen the confirmation on there. And look at that. I think we have 2 new subscribers. Didn't even see it, but yeah, it's going to change, and we don't know exactly what it's going to change, Jason. So if you want to sit tight, and I also, so what they'll usually do is if you built a hero, let's say right here to a plus 36, is a lot of times if they're doing an adjustment, they will adjust heroes back to a 30, or they might just refund the resources in there for players that overbuilt trying to get to this 40 right here on the signature item. If they lower this to 35, which yet again, I haven't seen it confirmed, but if they lower this to 35, most of the time they'll refund the resources. If you just want to build this to 35, you can go back and build it up to that 35. Is it worth carrying Rem to SI 40? Yes. The big thing with Rem, of course, Rem is a damage dealer. Rem is a primary damage dealer in AFK Arena, going to a 40, and I'll do the exact same. I will build Rem up to a 40, probably after Belinda, because I have Liberta, I have Athelia, I'll have Belinda. Then I'll probably go in and build Rem depending on where Lucius is. Yes, is it worth it? Should I go 40 on Athelia or just wait? Athelia works. The thing is, when you look at Belinda, Athelia, Liberta, a lot of other heroes, we already know where they work. They work in a ton of formations. They have an incredible amount of utility. We already know the heroes work. How many Mithras to purchase the advancement rewards? That I'm not sure, John. I know the Mithril has a conversion. So in some places, Mithril is a lot cheaper to buy currency-wise than it is to actually just buy it in-game. That's why a lot of players do use that Mithril, is it is cheaper. We bought it when it first came out, which dollar for dollar, the Mithril, they give you a bonus. So let's say you put $100 in there. I believe right now you get $105 back. So you are getting a 5% bonus if you're going in there and buying the Mithril through their site. You are getting a rebate. Again, you can save a little bit of money in there if you're buying it through with the Mithril. But overall, it does have the same cost, but you're getting a rebate. So essentially, you're getting a discount in AFK Arena because you are buying it. I have Shamira, Athelia. Do I think Leica or Sophia? Oxford, I would wait. If you have Shamira, Athelia, Belinda, I would wait to see what Lucius does. So the big thing is if Lucius comes out at a tank, could see a lot of utility with Lucius. Overall, if Lucius comes out a warrior, we might see a lot of changes and a lot of adjustments just based on the awakened version of Lucius being a warrior. Because if Lucius comes out as a warrior, chances are he's going to be a very strong damage dealer and not so much in the tank aspect. Once I get all the relevant for F-built, is it worth building to waitlist? Not really. I mean, you could for 1 or 2, Marion, but overall, once you get the primary ones built, the rest of them will come naturally through summons. Don't waste diamonds, not desire summons, nothing like that. Eventually, you'll get to a point where you have a significant amount of dimensional keys, which you don't have to use anymore. But yeah, let's sing together. Can you gift me a dimensional? I cannot gift dimensionals. Sorry, guys. I've been changing my collection manually to get better results. Yes, that's it. And that's, again, what we see and what Ludwig said. A lot of the manual changes have been used a lot. It has been used a lot. I've had to go through and score a lot better in the Nightmare Corridor and the Cursed Realm because of manually equipping them. Again, don't know exactly the logic that they use, but of course they'll tweak it. I wouldn't be shocked even in the next patch if we do see a couple little tweaks in there, a couple little changes overall. Is there an Awakened Athalia team? Yeah, the Awakened version of Athalia in the Temporal Rift, there's actually, I don't think I used Athalia in my Temporal Rift team. But there's quite a few, there's formations that you could absolutely use Athalia in, and it would work very well. Even here, like the Leica team, if Athalia went in that one, it would work well. Most of them you can work, and it will work well with Athalia because she's strong. She is a very, very strong hero. I don't have one right off the top of my head. Should I garrison Rem? Yes. Rem is the primary. Janik, when you look at building out heroes in their entirety, Rem is the primary one that you're looking to build. Absolutely. Could you guys build Eugene to max on the test server? Not yet. So the other thing with Eugene that we don't know is not only having him max out and built with the furniture, but also, are they going to require us to wait to get the additional 3 copies to get the engraving? That, again, we don't know exactly what that looks like, if they're going to require us, if at, let's say, Ascended, we can Stargaze for the copies, or are they going to make us essentially build it out? Did you enjoy the game more years ago or now, since there are so many things? Honestly, I like the game today. So if you guys, again, remember old school AFK Arena that we started, I mean, April will be 5 years ago. But when we started original AFK Arena, you would come in here, you would spend 10 or 15 minutes. It was done. That was it. It was kind of forgot at that point. No wish list, no signature items, no furniture, no engraving, no collections, no nothing at that point. It was literally just kind of broken at that point. But yeah, when you get to the point of this game, now I feel like it's really developed into a game where you can sit down, you can do an hour live stream. I couldn't even imagine, even in here, we didn't have the Abyssal Expedition, no Ghoulish Gallery, there was no Thrilling Voyage, there was no Voyage of Wonder. The Peaks of Time was here. There was no Temporal Rift, guys. So when you think of the original, again, going back AFK Arena, we had the Peaks of Time, we had the King's Tower, the Arena, the Bounty Board, Arcane Labyrinth. That was it. Even looking in here, we didn't have the Oaken Inn. I don't believe there was a library at that point. There was no Beast Ground. There was no Rickety Cart. There was no Trading Hub. Most of this, again, was gone in its entirety. And even coming here in the Peaks of Time, we had these ones. There was no Wandering Balloon Adventure. So these were actually completely empty. There was no Trial of God. There was no Wondrous Pouch. There was nothing. There was really, really nothing left. Best frontline heroes. Frontline heroes, of course, anyone that you put with Ulna, just because Ulna is kind of broken. But even looking at some of these solid tanks. Now, the Awakened version of Shmira, super strong tank. Kanisa and Rook, even looking at Mishka, looking at Naruko. And then, of course, the new Wilder tank works well. The defensive ability of Aethys works super, super well. He's very hard to kill. He's a very, very well-built solid tank, which unfortunately we do not see most of the time. Yeah, Awakened Shmira, there you go. Althus, Valkyrie, Jerome. Yeah, very invincible team. Yeah, I love AFK Arena. Again, this is a game, guys. If it gets to a point of the game not being fun anymore, that's the point that I will stop playing. Trust me, if this game is tedious, if it is not fun anymore, there's a point where I'm going to stop playing AFK Arena if it is no longer fun. But all right, guys, so we're just a little bit over our stream time. Thank you guys again for all the love and support, all the brand new members to the channel, all the new subscribers. As we hit 36,000 subscribers within probably next couple days, have a lot more content that is coming up, waiting for the Awakened version of Lucius and all of the adjustments to the signature items, which are going to be coming down the pipeline very, very soon. We're in 57-12, so I'm going to actually hop in here. I'm going to let this farm, and we go through, we turn these on, and literally just let these run until we get them done. I want to finish out 57, get into 58, 59, 60, so on and so forth, not only for the resources that we do get in there, but also for the progression and everything else that we haven't seen in AFK Arena. So again, guys, thank you very much for joining me today for the live stream. It is awesome to be able to talk to you guys about the game that I already love. Oh, there we're at 36. Are we almost maybe 37? Are we coming up on 37? I have my phone right here. And of course, if you haven't checked out the finance channel, we're almost at 6,200 subscribers over there, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, 37. We're coming up on 37. Thank you, Last Boss. 36,716. That's what it says right there, guys. Think it might be a little bit blurry, but almost to 37,000 subscribers. So absolutely crazy. Again, thank you guys for joining me for the stream today. It's always awesome to be able to talk to you guys. And as always, thank you guys for watching.